I'm very aware where a lot of people, put their thoughts of Touka. But for me, I'm more interested in no, not the damage that can be done to ships. Though she'll probably end up pushing the ships fully into completion by the end of her arc, just the way that she, it messes with the characters. But I'm more interested in what Toka's overall reach can be, and what exactly I mean by that is in this arc we've gotten a couple comparison characters. We've got the five dragon gods who are supposed to be about as powerful as Acnologia, obviously normal Acnologia, not space between Time Eating Acnologia, and the White Witch being comparable to Zeref. So we've already seen with the Dragon Gods, that seems to be the case, and with Touka, it was kind of like a question mark because hers was just strangely out of like an extra layer out of nowhere. There's some stuff prior to this arc that you can compare to like stuff like make sense of the Dragon Gods. Touka, I think the only thing that people have been able to kind of like figure out of like anything about the White Witch is that story that Eileen told about the battle between the White Angel and the Black Angel, and it was over a guy. And then like there's some theories that it was like maybe a premonition of the future, and because like you got to keep this in mind. So think that in this idea, it's like, oh, they're gonna fight over a man, and then the white one is gonna win. Given this situation, so it doesn't. I don't think it said anything about love. It was just about them fighting over them. And look right in this idea, we have a white mage and a black mage, Toka and Zareth, and they were fighting over, well, not directly, but towards Natsu involve both their goals. Zareth lost. Maybe that makes kind of Touka the winner. In a way, I guess, in competition towards the Black Mage of Zareth. And we don't know if what exactly her overall plan is with him, because it seems much more of the normal Touka, but White Witch seems to be interested as well. Does she know, E&D related information? Who knows? But again, we've seen like that she seems to be, up in that level of comparison to Zareth that, is, what she's been proclaimed to be. Because one thing about that she has done, obviously she hasn't done anything on level with Zareth, but we saw that she beat everyone in the Fairy Tale Guild. She literally took everybody that was there out at once, and though there wasn't guild arts, there was Laxus and Jalal, and both of them are, on level with one of the Spriggan 12, and, two of them at once, if she's strong enough to completely nothing off two different Spriggan level characters like that, then she's going to be a pretty big deal, like obviously power wise. But when you compare him to Zareth, like compare the two, if they weren't just my own power, you got to conclude like their what they have available, their resources. Zareth and Touka could be comparable, but Zareth had the Alvarez Empire. He had over 1 million soldiers and the Spriggan 12. He's a very high power level like overall character. Touka could match Zareth, but what about her forces? Whereas I think Zareth's are going to be much more in overall power, like domination. Is the level of force and capabilities that he has like behind him. I think Touka's will be much more quiet, and what I mean by that is because she can seemingly like mind alter people. She could have her spies all over in the series, like maybe like characters that we haven't seen in a while that are being controlled. Maybe there could have been characters that even during their arc that we saw them in, they were actually being mind controlled by Touka. Something like that. Something kind of crazy like that. What if something with like Yukino and Serrano, Angel. What if they've actually been controlled this whole time, and look over some reasons, or a character like that, or something that like they did at the time didn't make that much sense. Maybe it was kind of questionable, but maybe it's because of like a plan Touka had. But also, just like it'd be cool to see characters come back and then get to fight again. Compete with the rest of the cast. It'd be kind of like this both fan service towards like the just the series, the readers themselves getting to see all these old nostalgic faces, but then like it would also say like story writing of like how far and deep do Toka's like connections throughout the world go, because that could be her thing, whereas Zareth was just this overwhelming like pillar of like strength. The only thing above like him and his empire was Acton Loki and the dragon gods. But as a normal person, Zareth was the most. I guess I wouldn't call him normal as a human or non-dragon. Let's just go with non-dragon. As a non-dragon, he's the most accomplished person in the series, and the most powerful. Whereas Touka could be she's herself. She's very powerful, but everywhere in the world, she's got just a couple people planted. Like imagine if she has like 3 people in every single city and town on the planet, or something like that, or a couple characters, like maybe somebody in the Spriggan 12 was actually controlled by Touka. We don't know. Maybe it was God Serena. That'd be such like an extra like layer of mindfuckery if like it's like God Serena. The reason why he left Fiore is actually he was being controlled by Touka the whole time and wanted to get information on Zareth's empire, and then after she found out what she wanted to dispose of him, and then had him immediately like, oh, there's Acnologia, I'm gonna let him kill me. That'd be such like a fun mindfuck. Something like that, where it's just such like a retroactive, like, oh my god, this actually makes sense now. Could you imagine that? Because it was like the full depth on God Serena's character was never really done. Like he just switched sides, went to Zareth's side. There's a lot of questions there. I have my own like ways I wish that it would have went, or maybe like reasons why he left, but we never got him. His character was like instantly ripped apart by Acnologia. He didn't make a smart decision. But how much would it have been like so much more interesting if it had something to do with like Touka doing some like spy game on her? Because that seems to be like what she could easily be in her way of like level of power, is that she's got spies everywhere. She's this very like knows everything. Like she could just find something out by like, oh yeah, find out this information, and just like how many things the spider web connects to, how many characters she could use for information. There's a lot of questions for a character. So like it's an interesting aspect, because there's I think a lot of people are like looking at Touka. They're looking way towards more of the ships. She's damaging some ships. She's after Natsu. She's having Jalal and Urza fight. She's got now an evil couple of Gachio and Levy, who is pregnant right now. So who knows how that's gonna go out. And there's just so many like areas that people are looking at right now. Well, really just the shipping area. But like I think the minority are the ones that are looking at the fact that Touka has a large expanse of possibility to affect the story, as well as like an interesting way her character can go about. Like I just think that'd be a lot more fun to see like how her character goes, than just like, oh, she's a powerful opponent, she's got her own group of Libieras, she's mind controlling people. It's just to see like how deep hers is, because you can kind of like look at it, and like if you looked at it like a picture of like Zareth, you'd see the Alvarez Empire, just like troops everywhere, and then you'd see the Spriggan 12, and then Zareth at the very top. And with Touka, it'd be like Touka, and then it'd just be like under her like roots or something, and then you just see it all spreading around, and like where exactly like she has her touching things, which is just going to be a lot of again a lot of fun just to see how she unfolds. I'm hoping that's the way she goes. Again, we know very little about both the White Witch and Touka. They're both very mysterious. That's part of the appeal of them. I think is the fact that it's like very very a strange character, because we got Zareth like. Zareth was first mentioned in the Lullaby arc when they were talking about Lullaby, and it was one of the creations of Zareth, and we didn't get Zareth for 200 chapters in, but Touka like is this character that seemingly rivaled him, and there's some sense that could be made that maybe she was foreshadowed, and yet like we know very little about her, because like very little is also known about her, because Zareth was this very famous character even within the fairy tale world. He was the most like infamous and famous black mage ever. Mastered black magic. He created tens of thousands of powerful demons. He's done all these things. But with the White Witch, she's like very, very whispered about. It seems like not a lot of people know her. We don't even know if that's like her actual name, because Touka's the name of the person she possessed, and a lot of people obviously just refer to the White Witch as Touka. Similar to Yu-Gi-Oh, like a lot of people will just refer to Atem as Yugi. A lot of the time it seems almost interchangeable between the two. But with Touka, it's a very interesting way it could be, because like what if like people don't even know what the White Witch's original name was, like, or something like that, or maybe it could have been said at some point in the series and we just never took word to it. Maybe a name of some character from some flashback, some very off name, like a name you wouldn't even think about, and it turns out that's that character. And something happened there that relates all the way to now. Just a lot of like very interesting directions I think that Touka could go and provide to the story, both like a connection point of old stuff, but also just a way to bring old stuff back, make stuff relevant again. Again, it'd be like I talked about in this my recent stream. The on Makarov's team, we know that like two of the members, Goldmine and Bob, used to be on his team. Like they were members of Fairy Tale at one point, and now they're the guild masters of Quattro Cerberus and Blue Pegasus. It'd be cool to see them come back, and it's like, how are they going to be strong enough to compete with the characters? Oh, Touka boosts them and they're more powerful. Okay, makes sense. But it'd be really cool because you have these characters that we've known about since the beginning. They've been in the story in multiple arcs. I guess not multiple. They've been in like what, 2 or 3 arcs each, and then have them finally fight. It'd be really cool. They don't have to have some deep, long battle, but it'd just be cool to see them in action. We don't really know anything about their fighting prowess, and it's not they're like, oh, we're just kind of like good business people and leaders. We're not actually strong. No, they used to be a member of Fairy Tale, so they had to be strong, and they used to be part of Makarov's team. Makarov, even though he's not powerful in like current standards, he's still a wizard saint level character, and so you gotta imagine like these other characters have to be somewhat competent and have cool magic. So maybe we'll see something like that. I don't know. Right now, I'm much more interested in seeing like the interactions between like Jalal and Urza that Touka has now induced. How Urza's gonna take like Touka's presence, but we'll see. Chapter tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description below. And I'm not just trying to shield the Twitter in general, but I get the chapters and I put out like spoilers. So if you want to get like a good spoiler picture or a summary of the chapter before it comes out, then just follow me on Twitter. It'll be early tomorrow. Like what's time? I don't know right now. Like 16 hours, I think. And then, find out what happens. Will will we find out information about her in the next chapter? Are we going to see how, like, the main cast is going to, like, react to her? Because they only know a little bit about her from, like, the stuff with Mercephobia. Now they're finding out that, this is her, but also she's now messing directly with their guild. And going to be really interesting to see, what exactly is to come. Is Touka the actual villain? Or the Dragon Eaters secretly good guys? And now they're going to team up to defeat her? Who knows? Again, there's a lot to come forth in the future, a lot of information to come out in the next chapter. So look forward to that. But other than that, I'd really appreciate if you'd comment below. Leave a like, thumbs up the video, as I said. Befriend the like button rather, and befriend the subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But on that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.